Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for this eclipse season for the Pisces and Virgo eclipse that are happening. Pisces on the 7th, Virgo on the 21st of September. And remember, eclipses can last for up to 6 months after, sometimes even longer. So, and really, technically, we are going to have this series of eclipses until like 2027. So, between Pisces and Virgo. So, I don't know. It could last a while. You have this Work Through Your Fears card and this New Romantic Cycle Begins card, which you've been getting something like similar to this about like new love coming in for you for months, basically. And, maybe there are some fears around it, Capricorn, and that's what you have to work through with this New Moon and Scorpio card that's showing up here. So that's definitely something I would think about. This could also, for those of you that already have love or don't want love, I feel that you could be working on things that you love. And even if you do want love, again, I think that you could be falling, like, I feel like you are falling in love with life again, is what I want to say. So, but like in the sense that if you feel like you've been lacking passion, it's like almost like the best way I can describe the energy to you here, Capricorn, is like if you have been feeling bored, for example, and just like nothing is, exciting you, right? Then I feel that there is like this return to excitement or something like that. It's like feeling like a kid again. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And, that's like the initial kind of vibe that I'm getting off of this reading. But it's like, I think you have to, of course, work through your fears. It's like there's some sort of fears that you have to face. And damn, look at this reading. This is a very good reading for sure. So I like it, but, what I would say is I would work through those fears, right? Each row is going to represent something different than we normally do. So your first row is what is being revealed to you at this time, because again, eclipses, you can reveal things to us just in general. You have two cards, the Four of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, Sun, and the Ace of Wands. You have three aces in this reading, which is crazy. Ten of Wands could be, I think since the beginning of 2025, we've been talking about you simplifying things, Capricorn, which I think would be a great thing for you to do instead of doing thinking, coming up with like complex solutions to problems and, all that other stuff. I would say that, researching more simple approaches to, anything that you're working on would be a really good idea with these cards. I also do feel you're creating a lot more stability in your finances. I do feel that's a focus for you for years. It's like I think Capricorns have been hit hard financially kind of over the past many years. And I feel a lot of you are trying to get to this like stable financial place. And so it's just like a focus. There's really not much to say about it because like I said, I feel you are doing this, it's like work. It's something that you're probably already focused on and working on. Next, you have the Sun. So, the Sun is the truth. The Sun is the best card in the tarot, makes the whole entire reading more positive. Remember, this row represents what's being revealed to you at this time. And like I said, the Sun can reveal the truth. You have the Ace of Swords, which is also the truth. So the Sun's definitely shining its light in your life. The Sun is like a spotlight. It shines a light on things that you need to pay attention to. Sometimes I say that the Sun says you have to pay attention to your attention. If your attention is being drawn to something randomly throughout the day, there could be a good reason for it. It could be your intuition is guiding you, or, it could be your ancestors, your guides, your angels, whatever you believe in. And, I would pay attention to your attention, but I do feel like you're about to be very happy. One thing I will say is that the readings have been very happy. Like a lot of people in this set of readings so far have had these happiness cards or, something like that. So, it could be a pretty happy time if you allow it. You have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. So definitely, I would say Capricorn is definitely one of the signs that's being guided towards like new opportunity, new potential. Ace of Wands can just be a spark of inspiration. I would say over the next 6 months for sure, at least, if not longer. I would be paying attention to things that excite you, that make you feel excited, that give you, make you feel like a kid again type excitement. Those are the things that are probably meant for you. Plain and simple. If an idea excites you, if a business plan, if a person, if a friend, whatever, if a new boss, if a potential job gets you excited, then that is what I would be moving towards if I were you, Capricorn, because those are the things that are really meant for you. And, I would pay attention to that. As always, I feel like I've said this to you a couple times in the recent past, but I would definitely be tapping into your creativity. Like, it is a very good creative time, I would say. for Capricorn, like, I think it's a good time to use your creative skills. There's like a lot of benefits to being creative as well, I would say. So, anything you can do to tap into your creative side would be a good idea. Let's see. With the 10 of Wands and whatever the other card was, 4 of Pentacles, you have these 7 of Wands. Yeah, you have to do new things though, right? And how long are you not going to be ready? Is what I feel like asking on the 7 of Wands. If you keep saying, I'll do this when this happens, I'll make this move when XYZ happens, then you're never going to get it done. And I'm not calling you out here because I do this too. I'm like far from perfect. So, I don't want people to think I'm perfect, but what I would say here is that, again, if you're like saying, I'll make this move, I'll do this thing, I'll build this business when, the kids move out or this happens or that happens, then you're never going to do it. And I feel like the 7 of Wands is saying basically there is, it is the card. It is a card that says there will never be a perfect moment to do anything. You have to do it now, right? With the Sun, you have the 5 of Pentacles. You need to say you are good enough. Plain and simple as well. I feel like you need to believe that you're good enough to have good things in life. I feel like you need to believe that you're good enough to get the things that you want in life as well. 5 of Pentacles is like feeling left out in the cold, but really, 5 of Pentacles has a very easy solution. You have to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses, with this card. And it's like I feel like it's almost like I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, Capricorn. But it's almost like the energy I get for Capricorn is that you're underestimating yourself, It's like I think you're like underestimating yourself, but also overestimating like what something requires, It's like if you're starting a business, It's like I think you're underestimating your own skills that could allow you to make it successful, but I also think you're overestimating what is required to make something successful. So I don't know, I feel it's like maybe needing to work on your mindset or something. Yeah, with the Ace of Wands, you have the 2 of Swords. All these cards are about leaving a comfort zone, kind of, as well. Well, not all of them, but some of them. And you also end with the 6 of Swords as well. The 6 of Swords is crossing choppy waters. She has choppy waters behind her on this card. So I feel like you have to get from here, to this island. That's what she has to do. She has to go to this island because that island represents like a third place or a third place solution. And so there are other solutions to what she is dealing with, but she has to like go and explore those solutions to get them. And, that's kind of what I feel for you there. Next, we're going to look at what is being eclipsed out of your life during this eclipse season. You have this exposed and revealed card, yet we'll talk about it in this land between card, yes. Basically, we have a ton of energy that's exposing and revealing things in general. Neptune and Pisces, Neptune's in Aries, but it is retrograding back into Pisces this year. And so we're kind of going to see the final, I don't know, some punch of Neptune and Pisces as far as exposure is concerned. So there could be a lot of things, being exposed to us. Some of these truths will be comfortable. Some of them might be uncomfortable. It's like, but really, it's like I think that eclipses get a bad rap. It kind of cracks me up when people say that eclipses can be bad. Like I've heard several astrologers say that because I'm like, yeah, but that's not really how eclipses work. They're not like good or bad. It's like, yeah, there might be something that happens during an eclipse that seems bad on the surface, but it's usually like a 1-2 punch kind of with eclipses. It's like the initial hit can be like a little bit jarring, and then after usually something better happens. It's like it's like I don't know, it's like maybe you have a problem with your car and you like go and take your car in or something like that, and it's like maybe you discover that it's like not as bad as you thought, right? It's like it can be like that with eclipses, but that doesn't even have to happen. It's like sometimes a good truth can be exposed. Like you could find out that you're actually, again, like I said earlier, that you are actually more qualified than you think to do something. And you could find out you have more skill than you think. And that could be very good. I feel like this card needs to happen in your life. Again, we're looking at what's being eclipsed out, but I kind of feel this is something that needs to happen in your life here, Capricorn. It's like you've taken a detour, but now you need to get back on the road, And I feel like the detour was probably Pluto in your sign for the last 20 years, basically. And, a little bit of a detour, a lot of character building moments, we'll call them. And now it's time to, like, get back on track. And I feel this is saying it's time. You have the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Magician. The Knight of Wands is about charging forward, kind of like in a direction, being bold, assertive, confident, digging into mysteries. like you have 3 knights here. Definitely could be attracting a person because we have all of this right here. King of Cups to that Ace of Cups, Knight of Cups, Knight in Shining Armor. So I don't think this is being, but what I think is being eclipsed out of your life in love is like whatever this story is. Probably this one here. So if you if you have a story where you have dated people who are never ready, more or less, like Knight of Wands can be inconsistent. Sometimes people will say Knight of Wands is a player, but I think sometimes Knight of Wands just has attachment issues, and definitely with the Knight of Pentacles, probably true. Knight of Pentacles is afraid to make a move, right? And so it's like, maybe that's the story. Maybe you don't even realize it. It's like, sometimes I think we get with people like that, and maybe we think that they're cheating or that they're lying or whatever, but really they're not. They just have attachment issues, right? And so they kind of come off as weird or whatever you want to say. And so, I kind of feel like that's what you're used to, and that is definitely something that you could be eclipsing out of your life. I feel like you're attracting much more serious connections. I also feel like what you're eclipsing out of your own life is not getting started on things here, Capricorn. Again, I think that a lot of you are going to be, making investments. It's kind of funny because, like, in my head, I feel, this is what I feel for you, Capricorn. Maybe you've had many ideas over the years, and I think you've told people about your ideas, and like, as I get it, I've done this as well. Many people in my life have told me I have, at one point or another, that I'm spinning my tires, because I always have a lot of ideas that I come up with, and like I do a lot of things, and people will tell me, oh, you're spinning your tires, you're wasting your time. But it's like all those things that I spun my tires on taught me something very valuable, and so. And it's pretty much added up to a very successful life. So I don't want to toot my own horn here, but like I have multiple businesses, I do multiple things, good stuff in my life, right? And so I don't know. I kind of feel like that's what's happening for you here, is that what you're eclipsing, what you are doing, you're actually entering into this time of doing things, right? And I think you're like, all the knowledge and wisdom you've gained over the years is like coming together and turning into something amazing, So I don't know. I like it. You have the Magician. The Magician is about using the right tool for the job. Now, again, we're looking at what you're eclipsing out of your life. I don't really feel you are eclipsing anything out of your life with this card, but I do, but kind of, because the Magician is a card of reinvention. He has this snake wrapped around his waist. It represents reinvention. You definitely, I don't think you're changing who you are or anything like that. But I do think that the Pisces eclipse, that it will be, I'm publishing this video on the 7th, on the day of the Pisces eclipse. But it doesn't matter, because eclipses can last for a long time, right? And, the energy, at least 6 months. And plus, we'll have another Pisces eclipse in the future. So there you go. But what I would say is, it's almost like I feel your personality is changing, but that's not true. I think you're just Sun, Ace of Swords here. It's like you are highlighting or enhancing parts of your personality that have always been there, And that's what I feel. It's like really, I think it's the truth that's coming out. It's like, it's funny because it's like, people can see right through us. It's like, I've had many friends in life who have like kind of like kept things hidden, but everybody always knew, right? And it's like, I don't want people to think I'm, calling people out or anything like that, but I'm sure we've all had that friend that is, that comes out of the closet, right? For lack of a better term. It's like, I can think of 2 off the top of my head where it's like, we always knew, everybody was okay with it, no one cares. And, but it took them a long time, which is fine. I'm not saying that people have to, do things at a certain time or anything like that. So don't take this the wrong way. But what I am saying is, it's like, there comes a point in life where it's like we have to be extremely vulnerable, and it's like, I don't know what I'm getting at here, Capricorn, but there's something about your personality and just saying stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, where maybe it's like you're saying things that you would be normally would be afraid to say, or it's like you're no longer afraid to say those things that kind of like point out a vulnerability or something like that, because maybe you're realizing that everybody has known all along, and that we really can't hide. People pick up on things, right? But the beautiful thing about that, where I'm going with this here, Capricorn, is that makes you very powerful, right? So that's when we become truly powerful, I think, when, we just don't care. With the Knight of Wands, definitely love coming in for you, but I would say this is much more predictable, not chaotic love, with like the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. This would be like dating a cat. It's like cat people, it's like they don't want to be touched. They are very independent, and there's nothing wrong with independence, but sometimes they can be independent in the wrong way. They don't want, the second you give them attention, they run away, that type of thing, right? But then when you don't give them attention, they're all over you. So there you go. With the Knight of, I think you're attracting something balanced here. Well, let's put it that way. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Tower. A lot of towers coming up in this set of readings. And again, eclipses absolutely can cause tower moments. It doesn't even worry me when the Tower shows up in eclipse readings, because that's the whole point of eclipses, is to come down to reality, right? Eclipses bring us down to reality, and they make us see reality for how it actually is. So again, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. As a matter of fact, I think this is probably a good thing. With the Magician, you have the Three of Wands. Yeah, expanding. See, it's like taking up more space in the world. When we are not afraid to say that, like, our truths, when we just put it out there, when we're not afraid to be vulnerable, then like good things happen, And I feel like that's what's going on here with the Three of Wands. It's like like I said, with that the Magician, it's like you're not afraid to say things anymore, or, it's like maybe there are things that you think you shouldn't say, but now you're just saying it, or something. I don't know. I hope this is making sense. Probably not. Three of Wands is also a card that says, what are you waiting for? So tons of what are you waiting for energy here. Next, we're going to look at where are you being redirected to at this time. You have this Watch for Signs card and this Mystery card. Yes, I think Sun. I said it with the Sun, that the Sun is your attention. I think those are the signs that you will be getting during this eclipse season, Capricorn. It's like your attention will be drawn to things that are interesting or exciting or special or whatever to you in your life. And those are the things that I would be focusing on if I were you, is like your attention, things that make you excited, things that make you happy. It could just be subtle feelings. We are definitely in a time of mystery. The Knight of Wands also represents mystery. He has 3 pyramids on his card. There are actually 4 pyramids on this card, but whatever. And, I think it's an amazing time to dig into mystery, especially this month until like October 14th. We have Pluto retrograde right now. Pluto will only retrograde to like 1.3 degrees of Aquarius, and then it goes direct, like I said, on October 14th. It's a really good time to get to the bottom of anything that you want to get to the bottom of. And again, you have basically until October 14th to like work on that. So I think it would be a great time to get to the bottom of any mysteries. You have the Knight of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. Clearly could be a Knight in Shining Armor coming in for you here. Could be a mysterious person, or there could be an element of mystery with this person. So I don't know. There you go. Knight of Cups is also about getting started, which the whole entire reading is, saying you need to plant some seeds. Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. He has this water in front of him, but he's standing in the desert. It's like he feels like something won't grow, but if he plants seeds, it will grow. Again, the whole entire reading basically says that you think something is like this, which I feel like I've said this to you before, but maybe it was Leo that I said this to. I don't remember. But it just popped into my head as Leo, so I could be wrong. But it's like, I feel like you think it's like you're down here and something's up here, but it's actually the other way around. It's like something that you are making the requirements of something harder than it needs to be. You know what I mean? And it's like, but you're not going to know that unless you do it. I don't really have any good examples except for, like, I will tell you, basically for many years I was a copywriter. I've always thought that I'm a terrible writer because, like, traditional writing, yes, I am not a great traditional writer. But basically I had a marketing agency when I was younger, and I ended up in a situation where I had to write some copy for a person because I didn't have a choice. And so I just did it, right? And like, I got a bunch of compliments from like people and stuff like that on the copy that I wrote. And so like basically I found out that I'm just like it's something I'm naturally good at for whatever reason, even though I don't consider myself a good writer, right? But it's like one of those things where it's like bad grammar and things like that actually does very well in copy. So, that's kind of like why. And, it's like one of those things I didn't know until I did it, right? And that's kind of like what I feel for you here with the Knight of Cups. Is that, again, I'm dyslexic. I have dyslexia and ADHD. It fell on my head when I was 10 years old, which made things even worse, right? I literally went from an A student to a D student overnight, never got better because, a traumatic brain injury. And so, again, I cannot spell or anything like that, right? And I'm being vulnerable here. I'm telling you, this is what you should be doing here at Capricorn, right? And so, again, if I can do it, you can do it, is where I'm going with this. And you never know. So there you go. I think you're making something out to be harder than it is, but actually it's not. And it feels like work to me, although it could be love. Could be both. You have the King of Cups. Again, definitely could be attracting a King of Cups type person. King of Cups is usually someone with like stable emotions, someone who's explored themselves to a very deep level as well. So, it can be someone who's very emotionally stable. I do feel like you could be attracting a person like that. You have the Ace of Swords. Definitely a time of truth. I think that letting your truths out would be a good idea. The Ace of Swords is also like a victory. So I feel that there could be some big victories coming in. I think you need to focus on big wins at this time. It's like the universe, again, we're looking at where you're being redirected to. Ace of Swords, laser-like focus. It's like picking one thing that you want and making it happen, which is, what I think you need to do here. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. Again, I think if you're holding yourself back here on anything, literally, this is what we've been talking about the whole time, Capricorn. It's like, I feel like you need to face the challenge of setting yourself free. Or, it's like you're making something out to be harder than it actually is. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. With the King of Cups, you have the Hermit. So again, Hermit is Virgo, so this could be something that by the time we get to the 21st, maybe love could be moving forward for you by the end of the month or something like that. Or something could be revealed in love by the 21st. It could happen sooner. I'm just saying by the 21st, I feel this could be something that kind of kicks off. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. A lot of Wheel of Fortune energy during these eclipses. The Pisces eclipse is kind of lucky. I think, personally, I feel that these two eclipses are kind of getting a bad rap from astrologers, just in general, from what I've, listened to and read and stuff like that. First off, the Pisces eclipse is being trined by Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer as well, which makes it even better. And so, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that the Pisces eclipse might be a little bit better than people think and are making it out to be. So, I don't know. I think there could be some luck involved. Next, in the area of, we're going to look at what is your next chapter or the next 6 months, basically, the whole eclipse season. You have this knowledge card that says mentor, teacher, truth, and guidance. You have this receiving card that says gratitude, acceptance, and recognition. I think you need to get recognition here, Capricorn. I feel there are things you could do to step into the light to, get positive attention. I keep saying to everyone that we're kind of like in the time of the mentor. I feel there are a lot of opportunities for us to, get attention, to stand out, all sorts of stuff. So I would. You have the Knight of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. The Knight of Swords is being too hasty or rushing something. I actually don't really feel bad about this here, Capricorn. I feel good about this. Like, in some ways, I feel there's a lot of winning going on here. Ace of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. You have some good cards. Sun, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, 3 aces in the reading as well. But it's like, maybe you are realizing this whole thing, that you're actually more qualified for something than you think. And I feel like this could be, it could make you feel a little bit of pressure, because you could be like saying to yourself, oh, this could work for me. And then you feel the pressure to work, right? And so I don't know. I don't feel this is a bad thing, but I do feel, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't rush anything at this time either. You have the Six of Swords, definitely improvements over the next 6 months, which is great. So, love to see the Six of Swords in this part of the reading. This could say that you are making improvements, or that there are just general improvements coming in for you very quickly. So, like I said, I'm happy to see that. And it's like you're moving on to calmer shores. So, things are improving. Next, you have the Ace of Cups, so definitely could be love coming in for you over the next 6 months. Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy, so probably will make you very happy as well. With the Six of Swords, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, a lot of leaving comfort zone stuff here, right? So I feel that you definitely could be doing things to leave comfort zones. I feel like you need to do things to exceed your own expectations, It's like there are things you could do to really blow your own freaking mind here, Capricorn, but it's not going to magically happen. Like, maybe that's what this reading is saying. You need to blow your mind. I'm not saying that your mind is going to be blown, but I think you need, if I were you, which I basically am, I always make that joke, but, if I were you, that's what I would be doing. It's like, what could you do over the next 6 months that would blow your own freaking mind. And then do it. With the Six of Swords, you have the High Priestess. Everybody's had the High Priestess. A very intuitive time. Neptune and Pisces, all that stuff. So definitely time to trust your intuition, right? With the Ace of Cups, you have the Star. Yes, love it. Really happy to see the Star. Because you have this card that said, or where was this card? It said recognition on this receiving card. The Star is an amazing card for receiving recognition, standing out, getting attention, all of that good stuff, Capricorn. So, I would definitely be doing all of that. We're going to look, and we're going to use the Oracle of the Radiant Sun to see if there's anything that I missed or anything else that wants to come out. You have this Bluff card. Yeah, again, I think you could be doing things, like, it's like you need to call your own bluff. Like I said, I think you need to blow your own mind here. You have this Riches card. Yes, I feel there's a ton of abundance. I feel there's an amazing opportunity for Capricorns to make money, but it's not going to magically happen, like I said, and it is going to require work, but not as much work as you've been doing over the last 20 years. Much, much less, right, to get the abundance you deserve. So I feel there could be a lot of abundance coming in for you. You have the Submission card. Yes, you need to set yourself free. There's this, I always say, this card reminds me of the Eight of Swords. This bird is in this cage, but the cage door is open. It's like, again, probably the cage of Pluto in your sign. Probably that's the cage that you're still in, but the cage door is open. You need to set yourself free, right? You have this Discovery card. Yes, it is an amazing time for adventure. I feel anything that you could do, not even just this year, but, over the next several years, to, go on adventures, to travel, to explore, to do things you've never done before. It's an amazing time for that, for sure. You have this Friendship card. Yeah, I think there could be a good opportunity. I mean, you have a lot of people showing up here, so anything you could do to, build positive friendships or new friendships would be a good idea. But this looks really good, Capricorn. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.